So what happened in Breath of the Wild prior to the 100-year time skip? I have been meaning to do a video like this for quite some time, something that catalogs the facts that transpired. So what did happen? Now before we get into the Calamity Ganon ordeal, what was Hyrule like? Well, based off what we know so far, Hyrule appears to be in a state of relative peace. Additionally, the kingdom itself appears to be quite prosperous. But besides the kingdom, what about the other regions? Well, we know that the Gerudo are making a return. We have seen screenshots of their villages, which is marked by their unique symbol. So what happened to them? Admittedly, we don't really know too much about the Gerudo within Breath of the Wild. Were they as affected by the calamity as other races? Maybe, maybe not. But there is something we can take from the screen. You can see something of an aqueduct system that the Gerudo employ, which would make sense considering that they are in the middle of the desert, but what makes this especially unique is the fact that this is the first time we have seen the Gerudo really fleshed out lore-wise. We have seen bits and pieces of the Gerudo in the past, but nothing like this. On that note, apparently the Gerudo have a thing with riding sand walruses, likely using them as a mode of transportation across the wastes. Now, considering all that plus the defensive nature of the Gerudo, I want to say that they are not as affected by the calamity as the other races in Hyrule. Now, moving on to the Gorons. Less is really known about them. We have seen a Goron by the name of Dark Cow, but we haven't really seen anything alluding to a larger Goron society. Are they rested up in Death Mountain like before? It is certainly a possibility. On that note, from what footage and screenshots have alluded to, Death Mountain within Breath of the Wild is absolutely massive. In fact, I think it's a safe bet to make that Death Mountain is probably the tallest mountain in the game. That kind of reminds me really wonder what the view looks up on top. Moving on to the Zora, the kingdom appears to be around, but in terms of what kind of Zora comprise their society, they are especially unique. We have seen a ray like Zora, a hammerhead shark Zora, Rifa, the Zora girl that looks like she is somehow related to the hammerhead, and what appears to be some sort of a massive whale shark Zora that may or may not be King Zora. That being said, I want to say that the Zora Kingdom is relatively intact after the 100 years. Reasons why I'm saying that is the water in Breath of the Wild seems pretty stable, considering that the Zora in the past have only really been threatened if something happened to Hyrule's water, whether it be frozen, polluted, or dried up. Moving on to the Rito is a bit more cryptic. We have seen several different Rito across both trailers and gameplay footage. That being said, there might be an area within Hyrule that houses a Rito society, perhaps somewhere in distant mountains, kind of similar to how the Rito in Wind Waker inhabit Dragon Roast Island. Not Dragon Roast, Dragon Roost. Now, I don't think the Rito are endangered as far as we know. If danger appears in any sense, they can easily just fly away. Plus, the Rito we have encountered seem pretty carefree. So how did Calamity Ganon affect these different societies? Well, based on information we have currently, it honestly seems as though only the Hylians are really affected by this. The Gerudo seem well off, the Zora Kingdom may still be intact, the Rito don't seem threatened. However, we are not really sure what happened to the Gorons. But who knows, maybe the Calamity Ganon when released will unleash greater damage that will affect everyone. But we did leave out one tribe in particular, the Shika. Considering that this tribe is being emphasized greatly within Breath of the Wild, they have a large role. We potentially have seen Shika wearing red outfits and of course the monks. Other than that, we don't know much about them prior to the 100 years. But we do know something about them, the giant mechanized beasts. Each of these beasts reside in different locations corresponding to different regions and cultures. For example, the camel resides in the desert near the Gerudo and the bird naturally corresponds to the Rito. And considering the information stated in the Master Edition tapestry, it is likely that Link will use the four to ultimately defeat Ganon. And while that is all well and good, that doesn't really explain what happened to the Shika before the 100-year time skip. What were they doing? Who are these guys in red? Well, it will probably be confirmed once the game actually does come out in less than 12 days no less. But what do you guys think? What kind of role the Shika will have in Breath of the Wild? Do they have a key component in transforming Hyrule to what it is now? Did they somehow have a part in unleashing the Calamity Ganon? I suppose only time will tell. Also, I have been meaning to upload these shorter videos at a more consistent pace. Let me know if you prefer this format. It definitely makes it easier to make more content this way. But, well, looks like I have to be heading out now. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. Till then, have a great and relaxing rest of the day, and take care.